Christmas is approaching and you've got your festive party coming up. I'm going to show you from start to finish how to get that perfect Christmas glam. So of course we're starting off with brows. I'm going in with the e.l.f. brow laminating gel and I'm just going to soak them sort of upwards and then shape them. You definitely want to go for a more full brow sort of look for this, as it is going to be quite a glam look, so you want your brows to shine through. Okay, next we're going to moisturise. I'm using the Weleda Skin Food. I find this super hydrating, and you want to really focus on skin prep so that your makeup is going to last all night long and it's also going to go on so smoothly. Okay, and then we're going to let that all marinate in whilst we do the eyes. If you don't feel super confident with your eyes, you can put a piece of tape sort of here along so that it kind of meets up with the tail of your brow to keep it all neat, but I would do that before you moisturise. I'm just going to prime my eyelids with a bit of concealer first. Okay, for eyes, let's think warm, goldy, chocolatey, bronzy, and a whole lot of sparkle, because it wouldn't be Christmas without sparkle. So first I'm going to go in with the Jordana Tisha Nude Divinity palette. This has just got the perfect sort of tones for the look we're wanting. I'm going to start by taking a small tapered brush and we're going to concentrate on doing our darker shades first. I'm going to go in with the shade Iris just here, and I'm just going to tap off the excess and I'm just going to pat that in to sort of my outer crease, I would say, sort of this outer third of my eye. But I am going to bring it up into the crease a little bit like that. And then I'm just going to do the same on the other eye. Do like to try and do one step on one eye, one step on the other eye, so I don't forget the steps I've done. So sometimes I can get carried away and sort of be like, oh, how did I actually achieve that? Okay, and that's the darkest shade that I'm going to do. It's pretty dark. I do find I have two kind of different eye shapes, so I definitely struggle more with this eye than this eye, but we will make it work. Next I'm going to go in with another round brush, but it's slightly bigger, and I'm just going to take a lighter shade. I'm going to take the shade Gaia, just that sort of shade, and I'm just going to start to blend this out with that lighter shade. And I'm going to bring that lighter shade towards the front of my eye as well. You also want to make sure you're having such a light hand. A tip for that is holding the brush towards the end and just really light. You don't want to kind of go like that in it, because you'll end up just making the shadows go patchy. And now we're going to go in with a much bigger, fluffier brush and a much lighter shade, just for the edges so we can sort of diffuse them. I'm going to go in with the shade Atlantis because I want to keep it quite warm toned. I'm just going to take such a light hand and kind of just diffuse it all. At this stage, it will look a bit crazy. It does all come together eventually, but I do find that eyeshadow takes a while to come together. Okay, I'm going to go in with this MAC loose glitter today. It's in the shade Bronze. I don't actually know if they still do these. I have had it for quite a few years. I'm obsessed with them. But a few other glitters I love are the Jordana Tisha Duos. She doesn't actually sell these anymore, but it's like a cream at the top and a powder at the bottom. And then also the Jordana Tisha Twinkle Towers. These are great. And I also love the Peaches and Creams glitters. These are so nice. They're not as chunky as the MAC one, but you still get that proper sort of shimmer. You can also go in with like a glitter from an eyeshadow palette. Most things will work, but I just love this one because it's proper like chunky glitter. If you are going to go in with a chunkier glitter, you do sort of need something for it to stick to, whether that's a sort of glitter glue. I actually personally like to go in with the cream part of the Jordana Tisha sort of, I don't know what these are called, Base and Sparkles. I find that this sticks my glitter enough. Because it's a colour at the bottom, it adds to sort of the pigment of the glitter shining through. So I'm just going to take a flat brush to apply my base, and I'm just going to pack this onto my lid where I want the glitter. I personally I'm going to focus on the sort of first 2/3 of my eyelid. I'm not going to take it too far into my outer third, and I'm also not going to take it above my crease. And then you can either go in with your finger or a small brush. Pack that on. Look at that sparkle already. It is stunning. And you are going to get a lot of fallout with this, which is why you want to do it before you do the rest of your makeup. Even that moisturiser that we've done, it's probably going to stick to, and you will end up wiping it away. But I just like my skin to sit with some moisturiser on for a while before I do my makeup. That is absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh, I am obsessed. Then you're just going to go in with a super tiny round brush, or just a super tiny brush, and I personally like to just tap, just so there's no harsh line and it slightly diffuses. You don't want to sort of swipe because you will pick up the pigment. That is just sensational. Okay, you can leave it there, or you can go in with a wing, completely preference. You could do a liquid liner wing, you could do a sort of smoky eyeshadowy wing, you could do a pencil wing, whatever suits you and whatever you want to do sort of works for this. I personally am just going to go in with a smoky shadow wing, just because I don't want to sort of lose the round shape that I've got, and I find wings can sometimes do that. So I'm just going to take a sort of angled brush, and I'm going to go back in with my Jordana Tisha palette, and I'm just going to mix a bit of iris and astral, and that should hopefully give me a dark enough shade. And I'm firstly going to stamp it on where the glitter is, just because we don't want to disturb too much what's going on underneath. And then I'm just going to smoke it out a little bit. I don't want it to be anything too major. Now we're going to move on to the rest of our base, and then we will come back to the eyes to do little finishing touches. Next important step of making sure this makeup lasts all night is primer. I'm going to take a sticky primer first. This is just the e.l.f. Grippy primer, and I'm just going to pop that all over my face. And then I'm going to go in with the Rodial Glass Primer. This is one of my favourites. It gives you such a nice glowy base. And then you want to go in with your favourite medium to full coverage foundation. I'm going to go in with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. This is definitely more of a medium buildable coverage, but I just love this foundation. This foundation is a little bit too dark for me, as my tan has not fully developed yet. Next I'm going to go in with the Lancome concealer, mainly because I want quite a bright under eye, and I've got this in a paler shade. You do want to make sure your concealer is quite full coverage, so that you get that proper glam finish. And then to get the best coverage for this, I'm going to blend it in with a brush. I just find it gives me the nicest finish and still stays quite full coverage. I'm just going to take a little small fluffy brush, and I'm firstly going to just press it in, and then I'm going to leave it for a second. And when you leave it, that helps it build up the coverage. And that's my concealer all blended in. My under eye looks so good compared to what it did before. Next I'm going to go in with cream bronzer, and I'm just going to sculpt my face. And then I'm going to blend that in with a big angled fluffy brush, and I'm just going to pat it in. And I'm always going up, I'm not dragging it down. You want to try and keep it in the placement you've put it, because you've put it there for a specific reason. If I was to kind of make this go all the way across, it wouldn't do what I want to do for my face shape. If you are wondering how to contour for your face shape, I did a video a few weeks ago of all different face shapes and how to do it for yours, and also how to blend it out and everything, so feel free to go and watch that. Then I'm just going to blend my nose contour in with a smaller brush, just to keep it really precise. Next I'm going to go in with blush. When I do a full glam like this, I actually really like a baby doll pink blusher. I, in the winter, tend to stick more to like the purpley mauvey burgundy shades. However, for a look like this, I want to go proper baby doll. So I'm going to go in with the Merma Mitchell, actually I think it's the Made by Mitchell, liquid blush in shade Strawberry Cream. And then I'm just going to deepen it slightly with the same brand, just in the shade Cowlick. And I'm just going to blend them on the back of my hand and then pop it on with a brush. Okay, I'm just going to go in and just place that quite specifically just on the high points of my cheek. Just like that. And then I'm just lightly going to blend that out with a beauty blender. I don't want to blend it too much because I don't want to lose the pigment. And when I go over it with my powders, it will lose some pigment anyway. That's all the cream products done. So now I'm actually going to set my face, just so that this can all melt together, and so it gives it an extra added layer of like sort of protection. I'm just going to take the Urban Decay All Nighter Glowy, it's the extra glow one, Next, I'm just going to go in with the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I am just going to tap out any creases under my eyes from the concealer with a beauty blender, really lightly though, because I don't want to lose any coverage. And then I'm just going to press that in with my powder puff. And then I'm just going to powder on my face anywhere else that I feel like I don't want too shiny. Now I'm going to go in with the other part of my Jordana T-shirt bronzer duo. This is the powder part, and I like to take quite a big fluffy brush, but we're still keeping it quite precise. And I'm just going to pack my brush with some product, and I'm going to tap. Don't swirl or swipe because you will disturb what's underneath. You just want to tap. Now, with that brush that I've just used, there's not much pigment left on it. I'm just going to swipe away any of the powder that I just put on, just so that we don't get any flashback. And then we're going to go in with powder blush just to reinforce the blusher. This is, again, a baby doll pink shade, just to match it. And I'm just going to tap that on. The other thing that I'm going to do is take a small fluffy brush again and just go in with that powder bronzer just to go back over my nose, just to make sure she's skinny. Now we're going to go back in and finish the eyes. I'm going to go back with the same eyeshadow palette that I've been using, and I'm going to take a sort of medium brown tone, probably going to take that Gaia shade again, that middle shade we used, and I'm just going to go underneath my eye just to tie it all in. At this point you can go in with whatever your preference is, strip lash, individual lashes, mascara. I only go in with mascara as I'm not really a lash girl, but I do like quite dramatic natural lashes, so I do a lot of layers of mascara. I'm going to take my eyelash curler. Even if you're doing lashes, I would do like a little layer of mascara just to sort of, in case you've got any pigment on your lashes from the eyeshadow, it will just get that off and make them blend a bit better. Firstly, go in with the waterproof Maybelline Colossal mascara. I find that using a waterproof mascara first helps keep the curl. Don't worry if you're really messy with mascara. I am so messy, like I just said, so messy with my mascara, but we can easily get that off with either a cotton bud or a spoolie afterwards. I'm then going to go in with the e.l.f. Lash and Roll mascara, as I find that this one really adds to sort of the length. Okay, about 5 or 6 mascara layers later, and that is what the lashes are looking like. I do need to still remove all the mascara from around my eyes, but I'm just going to let that dry a little bit more. Okay, on to the last finishing touches. I'm just going to go in with some highlighter. This is just the Door Beauty Shine Bright highlighter, but they don't sell it anymore, and I smashed it and I'm really upset. Just going to focus it on the high points of my cheek. Don't want to take it too much. And then just the high points of my forehead, my nose. Okay, now we're going to remove the mascara from all around my eyes. I'm just going to take a dry cotton bud, and I'm just going to really lightly just sort of take it around anywhere. Like there might be some mascara. We are still getting quite a lot of fallout from the pigment. It happens, it is what it is. Because it's a glowy look anyway, it doesn't bother me too much. And then I'm going to go in with 2 setting sprays. First, the Urban Decay All Nighter Glow one, which I used earlier. And then the iconic Prep Set and Glow one. This just really gives you a glowy look. Final step, lips. I am not a red lip girly, just not for me. Don't suit it. And I want to love this glam, so I am going to go in with a nude lip. But if you love a red lip, please do it. It's Christmas. It is the right time of year to be wearing a red lip, and this look would go perfectly with one. But I'm going to go for nude. I'm going to go in with Morphe Sweet Tea Lip Liner. And then I'm just going to go in with a nudie lipstick. This is just from, I think it's MUA. It's shade Heroic. And then I'm going to go in with a gloss over that. My favourite is the Fenty Gloss Bomb. Okay, I'm going to go finish up my hair and we'll be back with the completed look. And there we have it. Christmas makeup glam all finished. Let me know in the comments if you want to see any other Christmas makeup looks.